So first of all, maybe it would be interesting to know what kind of events you have created already and how did it go, and yeah, just share your experience a little bit. I don't know, Callie, maybe you want to start.
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. Thank you so much. So I'm Callie Higgins, and again, I'm out of Colorado. I'm also the area manager for the west of the United States or of North America. Um, and we've had a bunch of different types of events, which I think really engages our audience because everyone has very different backgrounds. And in Colorado, as I'm sure everywhere else, there are academic institutes, there's government laboratories, and then also a ton of industry professionals that are all living in the same space. And we really want to make sure that we're touching on every single one of those areas and engaging each of them, as well as students and young professionals. So we've hosted, anything from lab tours. So, going to, either a laboratory in an academic institute or a government laboratory, or a tour of some really cool work that's happening at an industry lab, for instance. So we've done tours of, say 3D Systems. They have a healthcare facility right next to us in Colorado, and they have, this really cool, like it's just very like interesting, like large equipment, and it's just a very engaging tour. And then afterwards we'd host like a networking event so that it allows people to engage a little bit less formally. And then we've also hosted recently a series of a roundtable discussion, and it's kind of a vague format, and now I kind of have a good idea of what that means. But essentially what that means is we gathered 10 different experts across the manufacturing industry, and we did this co-hosted with a group called Women in Manufacturing. And that ranged from people that are in C-suite positions, so CEO type positions, to people that are representing healthcare and have been in that industry for a very long time, specific to manufacturing and additive manufacturing. And it allowed us to engage those young professionals and early career professionals, including graduate students and even high school students, to really learn about these different types of positions and about the trajectory that each of these people took to get there. So that was a really nicely well received event. So I would advise anybody to just really think about who your audience is, and make sure that every one event isn't going to address every single person in your community, but making sure that throughout the year you have events that will touch on pretty much everybody that you're trying to capture.
Thank you. That's definitely good advice. And what about you, Valeria? What kind of events have you hosted already through the platform?
Yes, so I'm speaking about Italy because I'm the area manager for Italy. I started, I think, in February to have hosted the first event in Hivebrite. This was an in-present event, just in an happy hour. I said the first time, I say without the precious indication from Marney, I just tried by myself, and at the end I I succeeded. So thank you very much, Marney. It's very useful, your explanation. But I think it's quite, you can do independently because it's quite easy to understand how to move in this platform. So the first event, I just used Hivebrite, but what I see, the people, because it's a new platform, they didn't register to Hivebrite because every user need to be registered. So there was a little bit, scary people that didn't use it. So I just sent the link, by email just to remember that there is this in-presence event. And then I had organized an online event. And this time I found a very useful Hivebrite because it's possible to post the link of Zoom directly on the images, so the first pages of the event. So this is very, very useful. And there is just a simply click, do you attending, yes or no? And again, it's very intuitive. So I think this is very useful to, also accelerate the registration for the people, for the attendees. And another point that I really like is the possibility to send a campaign or emails directly from Hivebrite. That I think it was not possible from Eventbrite, or at least I was not able to do it. This is very easy at the moment because for Italy we have no users, or not so many users registered. I just copy and paste my mailing list in this campaign. And it's very, very easy because it takes the as a reference the events. For example, I created the online events, and then starting from the events, the campaign is created automatically, taking the place, the date, the description. It's only necessary just to copy the email address, and it's sent the email to everybody from 3D printing emails. So the sender is the sender is Women 3D Printing. So it's not the name of the ambassador. It's like the pages.
Okay. So that's definitely an interesting tool because it does not only allow you to create the event itself, but also to promote it and to get registration through the community. So yeah,
yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, do you have any, apart from this, do you have any other tips and tricks you want to share with the community that you think it might be useful for our other ambassadors when creating events?
Yeah, I'll mention that since we launched Hivebrite, we've had 2 events. One was a Canada event, and so it was an online virtual one. That one we didn't need to have, we had no, capacity limitations. So no one needed to register in advance. And we had the, when you select virtual, you have your URL that people can join. And then the second event, we did have, well, it hasn't taken place yet, but it is a workshop where we do have capacity limitations. So then that one I had the the tickets with the minimum and the maximum amount. So that was really easy to create. And also what I didn't show on my demonstration was there's an area where you can select public. And also there's a section where you can select it to be part of on the Women in 3D Printing page where all of the events are displayed. And then there's also a share button where you can use that to share to social media platforms. So it's really easy to do that as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's really good, guys. I think one thing just to pick up on from what Valeria was saying as well about the email tool, just to clarify that me and Paula were trying to investigate it the other day because we didn't realize it existed until Valeria had said to us the other day. It's essentially like a miniature version of like a MailChimp within the platform. So it really is a great way to publish the event to as many people as you've got contacts for. So I think that's something that Hivebrite really kind of adds a lot. One of the things as well, just from a question for you guys that have started using Hivebrite a lot more than maybe some others, obviously it's got lots of great things, but are there any like challenges that you face at the moment that you think it would be good for us as the community managers to kind of put some material together on to help other ambassadors be able to pick things up?
I do have one. I had, and I know other people have experienced this as well. So I had quite a large mailing list, say of 200 people that I had in MailChimp. So I've exported it and I have my mail list, and I know there's a template to import it into Hivebrite, and I can't do it. I keep experiencing issues with that. So I think if we had some material around the steps.
Maybe a video on how to do that.
Yeah, I could try that again.
Yeah, we'll definitely make a note of that and get that put together. Callie, from your view on Hivebrite so far, do you have any other things you think that we can work on or other things we can add?
Yes, I think the hardest part that we've had is just adoption. I think everybody kind of feels similar, getting people to transition from other platforms to this platform. And I think, in our previous discussions, Janet had a really good point. This isn't intended to replace other advertising platforms, which I thought was really valuable, because I think we were putting a lot of pressure on ourselves to try to convert everybody over to Hivebrite, but it just didn't seem to be working, just because I think everyone only has so much bandwidth for types of media and social media to consume and to use. That being said, I think it's a really useful platform, and it's going to be specifically really useful for our core users and core audience, essentially, for Colorado, and I think women in 3D printing broadly. But that's the biggest hurdle we've had, is just adoption. And some hiccups that we've had along the way that make it even harder, because it's like if you have one hurdle right at the beginning, people are less likely to adopt it, because they're like, oh, it's back to this platform. Shoot, I don't know if I want to use this. But I think just continuing to use it and continuing to get people familiar with it is the best kind of course of action in terms of getting people to transition.
Yeah, and we obviously appreciate all you guys that are really trying to make sure that you're using it and doing everything on Hivebrite. So we'll continue to push from our side with all the users, getting them onto the platform. And obviously, the more you ambassadors are using it, then the better. And eventually, we'll have less stumbling blocks, hopefully, with people trying to get onto Hivebrite.
Yes. So we have some other question. So I saw there's a way to see where members are around the world. Can I just reach out to anyone from the system?
Yes, you can. So another cool feature on Hivebrite that wasn't something that was available before is that, you can search the users. So if they're on the platform, you can find them. If you're traveling for work and you're in a different country, you can literally go onto the system and see who else might be near you that is working in the area. So that's something that's really cool to connect the community much better than probably previous ways. And the more detail that people put on the profiles, and obviously the more everyone will be able to connect and kind of share relevant things.
Yeah. There's also another question, but I think Callie already answered to that. Like, is the goal for event signups, or also turning it into a vibrant social media platform? I think, Callie, you already answered to that question. And then the other question is, some companies were interested in posting jobs on women in 3D printing. Is it easy for them to post it on the job board?
The job board from the Women in 3D Print website has moved across also onto the Hivebrite platform. I will be honest, I don't know about posting them, but I'm sure it is super easy. And again, we can make some content to show you guys how to do that. And apologies for the noise in the background if you can hear it. There's a trade show behind me. But yeah, we can put something together on instructions for that. But absolutely, the job board has migrated onto the Hivebrite platform.
Yeah, and thank you for all these questions, because it helps us to understand what are the doubts towards Hivebrite and how we can help the community to work better with the platform. So there's no more question. Yeah, Valeria, Callie, Marney, would you like to add something else about the platform, about how to create events, and in general?
Yes, I have a question. So how a person can find the event? Because now, going to the official website of Women 3D Printing, there are no more the events connected directly to Hivebrite.
Yeah, so it is all on Hivebrite. If you go to events before you go to admin, you can see everyone's events.
So from the official Women 3D Printing?
No, from Hivebrite. Yeah,
exactly.
like
this is
on
my
the
question,
main page.
Just jumping in here for it. Just jumping in here for a second. Now, from the Women in 3D Printing website, when you click events, it will bring you to the Hivebrite events page, where you can see all the events that are listed and coming up. So this was an update that was done about a week ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's
great.
good. Yeah, I just want to make a comment that it's easy to create events, and don't worry if you make a mistake, because as I said, you can edit, you can unpublish, you can preview, and then just don't be afraid to play with it, try different things, look at what's under all of the different sections when you're creating events. And just the more you use it, the more comfortable you will be with it. And with all the additional features and benefits that are available now and coming in the future, it really looks like a powerful community hub for women in 3D printing. Just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, thank you, Marney. We feel the same. All right. So I don't see any more questions. So yeah, Callie, if you have a closing comment, we're all here, ears.
Yeah, I would just have to say that I think, this is a really useful platform. And I think once we get a really nice honed way of messaging it and understanding how to use it, like, through Marney, which was so useful today, because I think so many of us are using all these different platforms, and this is just a really nice consolidated way to deliver the same messaging across all of our platforms. So I'm really looking forward to us adopting it more and more.
And we are all looking forward to see what kind of next events you are planning and you're hosting. So yeah, I think that's all. Thank you all. Thank you, Valeria, Callie, and Marney, for this session. As you know, as everybody knows, this session is recorded, so we will send the recording to our ambassadors, and we can watch it at our own time. Yeah, thank you so much. Valeria, no, Victoria, if you have any other comments.
Not much for me, just a reminder, obviously this is being recorded, so to all the people that hopefully will watch that aren't live as well, just in case you missed it at the beginning. Obviously now we have myself, Paula, sorry about this noise, Anne, and Laura, and Janet, and we're the community management group for the different areas around the world. So just if you have any problems, just reach out to one of us, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So that's our job.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.